You've all heard of the Land Raider and the Wulfen, but have you heard of where their names actually came from? Today we're going to be talking about some of the funniest names in Warhammer 40K. I picked out 5 of them. I did pick out some of the more obscure ones because Iron Hands and Ferrus Manus is very obvious and very overplayed. So there will be some in here that I did leave out. Let me know in the comments below if you think I left out any cool ones, or maybe some I didn't even know about. But for that, today we're going to be talking about these fun names in Warhammer 40k, just to end this year on a fun note. Even in our world today, we name things after random objects. Sometimes we have the Darth Vader beetle or the random Darth Maul gecko, named after fictional characters that we enjoy. But there are also some that are named after the people who discovered them. This is especially common in the field of astronomy, but you see this throughout everything. And just like today, Warhammer 40k and that world does the same thing. If there's a cool vehicle or someone found something, it often gets named after them. And because of it, it leads to some very funny situations. For today, I've decided to pick out some that I just learned about recently that I thought were funny and wanted to share with you guys. This has been a topic that I've wanted to cover for a little while and have just never had enough to make a whole video out of it until I deep dove and figured out the research. And before we do this, I'm going to tell you guys about the tool to help me create this video in detail, including doing the outline and scripting a lot of this. You guys may not have noticed lately, but I've been working on leveling up my YouTube channel to a whole new level. And because of that, the tool I've been using to do that has reached out to me and actually wants to affiliate with me, which is wonderful. And that is vidIQ. vidIQ is a software that specializes in leveling up your YouTube channel. It's been a long YouTube journey for me, and I'm not here because I want to blow up and become YouTube famous. That's not what I want. I'm here because I like to share my passion for Warhammer 40k lore and talk about the things I can't really talk about with my friends. A lot of my friends who play Warhammer 40k are a lot more casual than I am when it comes to lore, and being able to do these deep dives and talk about lore accurate armies and things like that isn't something I can do in my daily life. So I'm here. And because of that, I wanted to find all of you guys that are the same way. And that's what drove me to vidIQ. vidIQ is an amazing tool that gives you access to thumbnail idea generators, script outline generators, which we're actually using for this current video. It also helps you with a lot of the back-end stuff, things like tags and keywords and making sure your descriptions are accurate and detailed. All these little things are little minor tricks that help me find more of you. In the last few months since I've started doing this, I've had multiple videos reach over 5,000 people, which beforehand, if you go look, even a year ago, I was reaching maybe 100 if it was a good video. So vidIQ has really made a difference and helped me refine my skills through various trainings and tools so that I can share my videos and my love with you guys. So if this is something that intrigues you, if you want to be able to share your videos and your interests with more of the general public, there's a link down in my description that will take you to an awesome affiliate site and help you guys get set up. There are free options as well as different paid options that you can do, and I definitely recommend checking them out and figuring out what's best for you. Now let's get back to the video that vidIQ helped me create. The first one we have to bring up is the obvious one you see running around Warhammer 40k Reddits and YouTube channels and things like that, and that is the good technologist Arkan Land, the man who discovered STCs for both the Land Raider and the Land Speeder. Yes, both of those lands do not mean actual like land. They mean Arkan Land. He discovered the STCs for them and helped develop them and bring them into full production for the beginnings of the Great Crusade. He's a technologist that actually exists even into the Horus Heresy, and you get to meet him a few times. And frankly, he's kind of a jerk, very egocentric and very focused on what he's doing. And this is shown pretty clearly by the fact that he named the SCCs after him. Not just one, but 2 of them. And honestly, there's probably several others we're not aware of that are named after Arkan Land, either Arkan or Land. He does develop a lot of different bolter techniques and ammunition techniques, as well as primers and powders for the bolters. And in the beginning of the Horus Heresy, when he goes back to Terra, he's developing more efficient bolters to try and stem the waste that's coming from all of them through their shell casings and things like that, which is really fascinating. But what he does in the Horus Heresy is even more interesting. I'll leave that for you because that is a fairly big spoiler for the Siege of Terra. He's the one we need to start out with because he's kind of the most famous one of all of this. He's the main curator of a lot of things that bring all of this to light and named after himself. Next, we're going to jump into one that you guys might not be aware of, and I didn't actually know about until I started researching for this video itself. The next one is one that I actually found really fascinating that I didn't know about, and that is the Wulfen. The Wulfen, unless you're a big Space Wolf fan, might just be the wolf-like semi-werewolf beings who are created when things go wrong during the process of creating an Astartes. But there's more to it. The Wulfen are named after one of the chieftains of Fenris named Wulfen. He drank from the cup that would become the Wulfen Cup, the chalice that was designated by the Primarch Leman Russ for the activation of Gene Seed. And when he drank from the cup, he went completely feral, turning into a monstrous werewolf that killed several other recruits that were trying to join. This led to Russ having to kill him, and serves as a cautionary tale even into the 41st millennium for all Space Wolves as they approach the Chalice of Wulfen. And it's a really fascinating tale that I really, really liked. A lot of the lore for the Space Wolves is really fascinating. Their aesthetic just doesn't suit me, or I'd probably collect one of their armies, but I really enjoy them in a lore sense, and I always love reading their stories as well. I've read multiple of the Space Wolf books and series, and I probably will anytime they come out. But sticking with the Space Marines, let's talk about the mother of all Space Marines. The next one that we're going to be talking about are the Astartes themselves, the Space Marines. And they have a creator who named it after themselves as well. And to be fair, through the lore, it actually doesn't seem like she named it after herself, but they were named after her in honor of her, which seems like a very Emperor of Mankind thing to do, to recognize the good work of someone and name something after them, which may be the case with Arkan Land as well. I doubt it. If you've seen him in lore at all, you know he's very egocentric, so he'd probably push for it. But Amar Astarte is the creator of the Gene Seed. She's the one who developed the details that go into the Gene Seed for both the Primarchs and the way the Gene Seed for the Primarchs is broken up into the Gene Seed for the actual Space Marines themselves. It's a really fascinating story, and I wish there was more of it. Unfortunately, most of the stuff we see about Amar Astarte is at the very end of her life, towards the end of the Unification Wars and the rise of the Horus Heresy, where she's struggling with everything that's going on and what she's created. She even went so far as, near the end of her life, to refuse the rejuvenat treatments that would have kept her alive a lot longer, and passed on her role as the chief geneticist and biologist to her protege, leading to her eventual death when she's confronted by a custodian and is threatening to expose some of the things going on in the Imperium. It's fascinating to learn about her and her character, and how a lot of the things she did may or may not have affected some of the Space Marines. But those are the major ones that we know about, besides the obvious ones like Ferrus Manus and the Iron Hands in Warhammer 40K. So next, let's wrap this up with some of the cool weapons and relics that have unique names that may or may not be named after someone that we just don't have the lore background for. But first, we do have one special request for you guys going into the new year that I would like to share with you. So, as we start the new year, I'm looking to do something really fun on this channel that may be a little bit different for everybody. I am a professional author, as you can see by the first books in each of my series up there. I am also a Warhammer aficionado, which you can see from all of my armies over here. And the fact that you can't even see half of them because they're on the other side of the room and out of the screen. So I want to combine my loves for storytelling and Warhammer. So starting in January, we're going to be doing a new series on the channel called My Lore. This series is going to be about your custom Space Marine faction, your Votan army, whatever it may be. I want to talk about your lore, and I'm going to write a short story in it, and we're going to read it out and have a lot of fun with it on the channel. So if you want to do a lore-accurate army list based on your Space Marine chapter, or your custom faction, your custom Eldari craft world, or whatever it may be in the Warhammer universe, let me know in the comments below, and I'll reach out to you on DMs to get more information on your factions. The very first one we're going to do is the Channel Army, which is the Night Wardens, and House Hestia, which you can kind of see some of the armatures. I'm still in the process of painting and basing those right now, so the big knights will be coming as well, and hopefully by the time we get there, they will be painted and we can do a full army breakdown with the actual knights that are involved. I make no promises though, that may be a little fast. Painting knights is going to take a while, and I don't know if I'm confident enough to tackle them yet as a painter. I've tackled some big stuff like Magnus, but that is a lot of big surfaces, so we're going to try it out and see what happens. I've done well in the armatures, so that gives me a little bit more hope, but we'll see. But with all that said, I want to know about your faction. If you've got a custom Space Marine chapter, if you've got just a Space Marine chapter that already exists, but you want to put your own twist on it, it's a separate company that hasn't been covered by lore, let me know. That's what I want to talk about. We're still going to be doing lore accurate lists. I've got a bunch of cool stuff coming for the Eldar. We've got stuff in the works for the Iron Warriors. Still trying to hunt down a book for that one. And we've got a bunch of other cool lore accurate lists coming that I am hoping to get out here pretty soon, either later this year or into the start of next year. But over the next month or so, I'm going to be collecting stories from you guys so that we can talk about them probably about once a month throughout 2026. If this is something you guys are interested in, let me know in the comments below. If you think it's cool, let me know in the comments below as well. If you hate the idea, let me know in the comments below as well. We've got a lot of really cool stuff that we're working on, so let's get back to the video so you can keep enjoying the show. As you go through the various data sheets of Space Marines and Imperial Guard and the Sisters of Battle and the various other Imperium units, you often wonder why things are named the way they are. And with Imperium tradition, they may be named after a forge that makes them, or they may be named after some saint of legend like the Leman Russ battle tank or the Rogan Dorn battle tank. But some of these you don't really know. For example, the Rhino. The Rhino is named after a rhinoceros, but in the year 30,000, would they have even known what a rhino was? I mean, the world is covered in almost a giant city. There's very little pasture lands or anything like that, so why would a rhino still be alive or even known? Is it the same thing? Or maybe the Mikander Power Axe that you see in some cases, maybe named after its discoverer or creator as well. There's a lot of those different unique things that we just don't know about when it comes to Warhammer 40K. There's a lot of lore that will probably never be filled in just because it's not a good enough story to turn into an actual lore novel or something like that. On top of that, we have a lot of lost knowledge in the Imperium. Some that may have been created and we have the STC, but we don't know how it was created and it's just pumping it out. Sometimes the SCC's been lost, but there's enough stored memory in certain machines that as long as those machines stay alive, we can still keep producing stuff. But if one of those machines goes bad, it's screwed. This leads to a lot of that lost knowledge, a lot of times not knowing where that name came from, and leads to a lot of confusion that way. And like we talked about at the beginning, this is something that's pretty common with us as well today. Even with our main battle tanks, we have the Abrams battle tank in the United States that is named after one of the great generals who invent and take warfare. But we still have a lot of different things like that that may or may not contain different names or named after mythical beasts or things like that. Although the most common names are usually named after someone who either used an older version of the weapon or helped create it, or in some cases developed a technology or a fighting style that made them a hero in military lore. So in reality, we're not too far away from the naming systems that we like to joke about in Warhammer 40K. There's a lot of really interesting ways that we do things that we don't realize when we're thinking about it personally. But when we look at it in the satire of the grimdark 41st millennium, it sticks out and it's humorous. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. We've got a lot of really cool videos coming in 2026, so make sure you ring that little bell so you get notified of any that are coming. And finally, I want to know in the comments, if you found an SCC, what would it be and what would you name it? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next one.